Kevin Samuels is living rent-free in the mind of Big Shirley, and we know this based upon their actions. The passing of Kevin Samuels' anniversary just passed over this weekend, and surprise, surprise, who was talking about Kevin Samuels? Big Shirley. Who was celebrating his demise? Big Shirley. Who was continuing to bring up what he said, what he did, how he impacted them, how he impacted the world, how he impacted Black women? Big Shirley. And so here we are, a year later. Nothing has been done. There's been no content. You would think these women would just move on, but no, they have to bring them up. And you know why they're so salty? Because they didn't like what he said. They didn't like what he said. It was just a little too much truth. It was just a little too much reality. Their response to not liking what somebody said was to celebrate or to minimize his passing. Imagine that. And I know what some of y'all are thinking. Look, this is just a modern Black woman, American Black woman, grab your passports, SYSBM, date out, marry out, and you're not gonna have to deal with this foolishness. I get it. But the crazy thing about it is this behavior, it's not a race thing. This is not just something that American Black women only exhibit. You will find this kind of behavior among modern women. Now enter Just Pearly things. She recently dropped a video where she made light of and laughed at the cancer scare that MTR, Medicore Tutorial Reviews, went through a little over a year ago. You see her laughing, you see her joking, you see her making fun of it, minimizing it, as if it's comical. Making light of something that literally could have led to the demise of this individual. Making light of something that could have resulted in this person's deletion. And so, I saw this clip, and it just, not only did it struck me as odd, it struck me as surprisingly similar to the behavior that we would expect to see among the Big Shirleys of the world that Kevin Samuels himself spent a lot of time addressing. There is a culture that exists where we can minimize experiences of men, and specifically Black men, and nobody bats an eye. I wonder if that comment had been said about a white content creator, let's say a Joe Rogan, for example. I wonder if there would have been the same response, or if Miss Pearly Things would have gotten checked by her own men fast. And so it struck me as rather odd, but also it was revealing to me that within just a couple of days, we see two examples of men who were facing deletion, one who actually did eventually end up transitioning. This speaks to the misandrist element and the misandrist environment that continues to exist within America. This is why when I talked to BGS, shout out to him, a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about the importance of the manosphere. He's like, it's not just about men going online and sharing those frustrations with men. We're at the point now where we need policies. We're at the point now where we have to advocate for ourselves, because unfortunately the environment has become so toxic to where without laws and without those protections in place, we can continue to be taken advantage of. In situations like this, where I see the blatant level of disrespect, the blatant level of disregard for human life, the way that's minimized. So what this reveals to me is a culture that coddles and creates a platform for women to disrespect men consistently. It's ironic to me that Just Pearly Things, who alleges to be a red pill content creator who advocates for men, it is ironic to me that we would find her saying and doing things that are misandrous, but then again, it's not, right? Given some of her more recent comments about just the Black experience in general, which also includes Black men, we see that she obviously has her own things that she needs to work through. Look, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect, right? So it's not about being perfect, but we have to start to get beyond just saying particular things. And it is wrong to make light of somebody's death. period. It is wrong to make light of a life-altering experience that could result in someone's deletion, that could result in someone's demise. That is wrong to do that. And if you allege to be somebody who cares about men, one of the worst things you could do is minimize their struggle. And one of the worst things you could do is make light of the things that bring them pain. That is one of the worst ways to support them. That is one of the worst ways to show that you actually care about their causes. And so again, I'm not saying that you have to be perfect. Look, as women, we're never going to fully understand what men go through. This is why I think it's important to try to listen and try to understand, and always keep a humble position, so that if you do say something offensive, if you do something wrong, if you find out later that you missed it, you can course correct, you can learn, you can evolve, right? So we're never going to fully get it, but we can't also create a culture that thinks it's fun to just make pot shots at men and then also be surprised when they don't trust us. And more importantly, if you are a woman and this is your response, you are sick. You have something to contend with. You're operating according to your fallen nature, and that's detrimental. It's detrimental not only to the people around you, it's detrimental to yourself. And so I say this not because, I hate women. Obviously, I don't. I believe in the potential of us when we are operating according to a God-given purpose. But this kind of behavior, making light of men just because we don't agree with them, wishing their death, or minimizing their life-altering experiences because we don't agree with them, that speaks to a sickness that needs to be addressed. And I'm of the opinion the only individual who can change that level of sickness is God himself. If that is you need a divine intervention. You need to come to Jesus, literally, because apart from that, I don't know what to tell you. But whether you will believe in higher powers or you don't, one thing is clear. This kind of behavior is not good. It's not useful. It's not helpful. It's not encouraging. It doesn't support men, and it should not be celebrated or minimized. It has to be called out for the misandry that it is. But what do you think? Do you agree or do you disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.